we're not going to be in World War III. I got to tell you something. I didn't get mad. I was amused. I wrote this piece yesterday that got into some of the, and I also had a development to it. It was talking about the missiles that, this came while we were on air yesterday. Russian missiles had reportedly killed 2 in Poland, and it hit this rural area 5 miles away from Ukraine's border. And apparently the earlier, well, you have people like, who's this? Rebecca Heinrich? I don't even know who this person is. I mean, decided to pull up at the stoplight. And it was just interesting because I had said War Inc. is rubbing their collective hands together. Because they were. I don't know. I'm sure you guys saw a lot of people were going, oh my gosh, it's time to go to war. It's time to trigger Article 5.
Yeah, WW3 was
trended. Article 5 trended.
Yeah.
Everything was trending. Everyone's like, NATO's going to war. Time to go to war. It's all we heard all day yesterday. So, heaven forbid your lovable curmudgeon is thinking maybe we should wait for some more info to come in. Because there were some things that just didn't make sense, right? Let's just lay this out. So these missiles reportedly hit this town, Predzvedow, 5 miles from the border. And there were 2 people killed. And there was a lot of speculation as to whether or not they were trying to hit this this hub or whatever that was actually in Ukraine, and they overshot. But that would have been an error because mistakes aren't attacks and attacks aren't mistakes. And I think if you're going to kick off World War III, nuance kind of counts here. You know what I'm saying? Here's why it seemed weird to me. Why would Russia, who is getting their butts kicked, why would Pillowface McShakyleg decide to lob some rocket or missiles over to Poland? Why would he? I mean, I get it. Dumber things have been done in human history. It's how we got Hunter Biden. But why would Pillowface McShakyleg kick off some missiles over to a NATO nation when he's already getting his butt whooped in Ukraine? It's the dumbest thing ever. It makes no strategic sense at all whatsoever. None. Occam's razor does apply here. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct one. Now, I thought it also seems kind of an errant action because Russia's equipment and their training and their tech are notoriously garbage. I mean, there are memes online. Have you seen my kids, they share these memes of like a Russian tank rolling in a field and then the treads fall off or something. It's ridiculous. Stuff falls off as it's going and it has to stop. It's that bad. It is so bad. And so they don't have proper training. That's been known since all this started. There are 2 entirely different things here, and they deserve entirely different responses. And I thought that this was obvious, but apparently it wasn't. Like I said, mistakes aren't attacks, and attacks aren't mistakes. Not even China wants to co-sign on Russia's invasion. They've been avoiding their lackeys at G20. I read a piece. They don't want to have anything to do with it because it's a drag. They're losing. It's embarrassing. And that's one thing that Xi Jinping does not want to. This is a guy who banned Winnie the Pooh in China because the Redditors were basically making fun of him. All of the Chinese dissidents and everyone were making fun of him and Barack Obama because they said he looked like Winnie the Pooh in this photo. He banned Winnie the Pooh. He's thin-skinned. There's one thing that he and the commie regime in Beijing do not want to happen, and that's to look even dumber. So they don't want to sign on to this. Russia's taken heavy losses, so heavy they've decided to call up all the grandpas. I mean, it's like the Battle of Hornburg, Helm's Deep, when they start handing swords to 9-year-olds. It's about there in Russia. Now, Rebecca Heinrich had said, I could tell she seems a little War Inky. Because I said War Inc. is rubbing their collective hands together. And she said, Russia just shot 2 missiles into Polish territory. Why isn't the call for Poland's right to self-defense? Well, no one is arguing against self-defense, which is a Mott Bailey. We just want to be informed before accepting completely unconfirmed reports as some casus belli for potential war. The issue here isn't just Poland's right of self-defense, because it's a specious, and again, it presumes that it's an attack and that defense is necessary to prevent more attacks. And it also implies that it's just solely Poland that would be defending itself and not an entire NATO defense operation, which means more lives and more resources are involved than just Polish lives and Polish resources. And heaven forbid this kicks off some domino chain of events a la Archduke Ferdinand that devolves into World War III, which means then everyone's lives and everyone's resources will be at risk. So I think before you gamble that, you should make sure first whether or not it's a mistake or an attack, because a mistake isn't an attack and an attack isn't a mistake. Instead of going in blind, hysterical, guns blazing. Oh my gosh, right itself. Stop. Now, Poland was considering, I think, invoking Article 4, meaning they would bring the issue before the Security Council's member nation. Article 5, though, is not like drawing your He-Man sword and changing, from the prince into He-Man. You got to vote on it. And then even after you have to vote on then voting to go to war. I mean, there's a lot of things here. It's not something like, wait a minute, our beacons. It's not like you're lighting the fires in Middle Earth, right? It's not like that. Gondor's called for aid, and Rohan will answer. It's not like that, okay? You got to vote. They all got to come together and they got to vote. It's the way things work here. They have a right of self-defense. Let's go to war. I mean, who the hell thinks like this? I don't want people like that anywhere near Washington, D.C. Oh, my gosh. There's enough of them in the Pentagon. No. So now here's what's interesting. Because I had some of the War Inc. mad at me. Somebody called me a Russian bot. And I'm like, are you serious? Golly, talk about jumping the shark, man. Not everything is a Russian bot, It's like finding a something at Target and the price is mislabeled and you're actually paying $2 more at the checkout. This is a Russian bot. Not everything is a Russian bot. Stop, Sheila. Stop. So the new information is that, Kane, did you see this little headline? U.S. and NATO initial findings are that the missile which hit Poland was actually fired by Ukrainian military. Now, I am not telling you, this is not Russian bot stuff. Even Joe Biden, which I think would desperately want this to be Russian, had to acknowledge this late yesterday evening. Do we have that audio, or was he just going, I can't remember. Yeah, he was like, But the point is that, and I was reading this piece, it's it's everywhere, NBC, ABC, everywhere. Even Poland's foreign minister says, it looks like it was most likely Ukrainian air defense. Because apparently a lot of the Ukrainian munitions and equipment and stuff is Russian stuff, which makes sense, So either way, it looks like it was an error. They said that it looked like it was fired by Ukrainian military in response to an incoming Russian missile. And they said, and Biden had a response yesterday at the G20, which supported it. He said it was unlikely that the missile that hit Poland was fired from Russia, is what he said. There is audio of this. And if we can play this, he had said that it was unlikely that this missile. And then they said that leaders of NATO and Poland all agreed that it was most likely an accident caused by Ukrainian air defense. They were responding to a Russian missile. And they're still calling for a joint study of the blast site. And so this is what Biden said yesterday. This was our late evening. Listen.
It's too early to say whether this missile was fired from Russia.
There is preliminary information that contests that. I don't want to say that till we completely investigate. But it is, it's unlikely.
So, I didn't get an apology from anybody who got mad at me. I'm just wondering if Heinrich kind of revised her. Do they have a right of self-defense? Like, can you just chill the hell out? Somebody get the girl some Chardonnay. Damn.